Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jacob with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. Have Honey Golden and Lisa Schermerhorn back with us again. We're going to be talking about some very interesting things. The laws of the universe. Lisa's going to do a prayer, and Honey's going to do some energy, show us some energy work that's simple and brings in your angels. Wow. I think we all could use that. So we're looking forward to this. So thank you, ladies, for coming in once again.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So we got the memo. We're both in magenta, apparently.
Amazing how that works.
Do you have purple on your shirt too?
I got a little.
Yeah, you got a little.
Got the lion going on, so yeah, he's looking out over everything, so he'll keep us safe.
Yeah. So yeah. It's so interesting in the 25 years of entering into the whole thing about energy medicine and working in metaphysics. I was shocked at throughout all of my training how little is really taught on how to project yourself. People will irresponsibly teach channeling. They'll teach all of these classes and you have no idea what you're channeling, including like a Ouija board. I remember someone bought my daughter a Ouija board when she was in middle school. I grabbed that thing so fast from her. She's like, "What, Mom?" I'm like, no. You don't get to have that." Because you don't know who you're talking to.
Right. Yeah, it's a good point because I learned to go after demons and so forth. But I wasn't taught any protection, so I had to learn the hard way, how to do protection. Kind of figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
But that's good that we're going to go into that because it's extremely valuable, especially during this time frame.
Yeah. We're in a really interesting layer right now where all the crazy is coming up. All the scams, all the crazy behavior, jealousy and anger, and just any kind of thing that you would think was crazy. Things are arriving at the house too. I've noticed, like I've had items show up that I'm like, I don't know where this came from, but I open the box and I realize that it's like a cursed item and just weird stuff going on and lots of scams going on.
Yeah.
But if you think about it like a layer cake, we are in a layer where we're peeling away 3D behavior, bad, distorted behavior. And we need to protect ourselves while it's going on. And we need to stand firm and say, basically, we're done with that. So energy work and prayer, all those things are really important right now.
Yeah, especially when you think about prayer over your food, even because everything that it has touched, that piece of meat or the lettuce, all of those people's energy is on it. So when you pray over your food, you're also raising the frequency and vibration of that, especially when you think about when that animal was being slaughtered, because you have to think about that. There's adrenaline that comes into that and fear, and we're eating that. So that's why it's always so important to pray over your food, pray over your home and just a protection. Because people, I even received an email. It was an invitation to a party. Those email invites. And I'm like, I don't know this person. I'm like, who's the party to? And I went to click on it and then it said I had to verify information. I'm like, verify information? I'm like, nope. And I deleted it because someone was going to grab my information.
Yeah.
I've had my LinkedIn already taken down. Someone took it and they co-opted my LinkedIn and everything. I had a huge following there. It's all gone. It's all gone. I don't really use it so much anymore, so I'm okay. If it were any of my other platforms, I would have been really upset. But yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, and we've had stalkers. We've had people that you get a big following, you're going to get some crazies in there eventually. You look at all the stars and actresses and actors and so forth. They talk about how people stalk them. They have to get, restraining orders on people. So I'm there, I'm having to get a restraining order on somebody. So, and they showed up on our door. They've been following me for a long time. It's like, and sending messages to other people about, all kinds of crazy stuff that's in their heads, but it's not any reality. So there is a lot of that out there. And I know, honey, I know you brought that up the other day. I was like, what's she talking about? And then, bam, that's me. He's on it as usual.
Yeah, it's the time where it has to peel away. Mm-hmm. So if you think of this as 3D and this is 5, and 4th is the bridge. So we're basically, it's peeling off. And a lot of people are passing away right now. There's a lot of sickness. There's a lot of chaos, but it's all the crazy stuff all at once that's showing up. And basically it's time to clear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's also, I say, don't take it personally, because if someone's behaving erratically, it's not about you. So don't take it on. So it's good to protect your field. One of the things, and Honey talks about this a lot, and I do it, is create like a mirror ball around you where the mirror goes out, or put a mirror between you and the other person if you know who it is, so that it just reflects. It reminds me of in kindergarten when we say, I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever comes towards me goes back to you.
Yeah. Bounces off me and sticks to you.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what you're creating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like Katie's like, no one ever should show up at my door and not leave the way they came. But you have to go through the legal process. So if somebody was a direct threat, obviously I can take care of myself. And but if they come into your home, obviously that's crossed a barrier. So you're careful not to let people in. They'll show up at your door. That's when you call the police. So the police are your barrier. And you get them involved. Now on a higher level, because all of us have talked about this, you can protect yourself as I did in combat zones. So me and my group, we never had any direct attacks because I was using the barriers. And I speak of it like, I call it the love bubble. So I would expand it. It would be in our cars. It would be in our houses. It would be in the city we were in. Eventually, when I got to that point, and using the field of consciousness and tapping into these higher spiritual realms that all of us have access to. So that's ideally what you want to do. But just like I would carry a gun and wear body armor in combat zones, even though I'm sitting out of this field of energy, I still have backups. So you have to, don't go completely la-la. You still have to have these other physical impediments to people that could possibly, cause you discomfort, harm, or something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really important we're still operating in a lot of 3D things at the moment. And so engaging a good part of the 3D is good. Just don't engage with the more negative, and really inform these people. Like I know several people they've had someone show up at their house, and it's like, don't give out your physical address. Don't answer an email that looks suspicious, just like Lisa didn't. Those things are really important right now. People are impersonating other people. Like I have a channel that I'm going to have to deal with that is impersonating me right now. And they're trying to steal money from people. So there's just a lot of weird stuff going on, and really grow your power right now. Yeah. Pull your soul into your body and say, listen, we need to grow this light, and ask your angels to come in and assist you, because they will. You could call in a dragon if you want, but call in beings to assist, because you have so many of them following you around that are your posse. They're your group, because everybody has a group of beings that are helping them in this situation that we're in on Earth. So don't be afraid to ask, and you need to ask.
Yeah. Michael, I think you're a witness to a lot. How many imposters do you have online? Like
I have no idea. There's
channels that are always saying that they're you.
Just trying to figure it out. I pushed back on it one time on YouTube, and then they, instead of going after that channel, they took my channel down. So that was an indicator to me that YouTube was involved. So I, it's just out there. I just try and, tell people, this is Michael Jaco. I occasionally I'll put out, these are my channels, and these are not my channels. And like on Telegram, there are, I think, 8 different channels that are, stealing my information. One of them has more subscribers than I do. And, and this one woman came up to me. I saw you on Telegram, and I bought your products that you're recommending. And she was telling me the products, and I was like, in my mind, I'm like, that's not my channel, and that's not my products. But I didn't feel right to tell her because she was so excited about it. I was like, oh, you got a good product, good, so.
But that's hard because generally, when I'm looking to see if there's duplicates, my intuition is to go with the one that has the most followers, because I always assume that that's the real channel. So that says that you really do need to do your due diligence when it comes to that.
Yeah. Even when I was not allowed on YouTube for a couple of years, there was still somebody putting my shows on YouTube, which YouTube had taken me down because I was doing these shows. So again, some of these social media sites are culpable, I think.
Yeah.
It's really challenging. And this is the big clearing. We've cleared a lot of other ugly things, but we're about to see some of those things pop up too. And not necessarily them happening, but the information about them coming. And we're kind of in the chaos zone. We're in the storm right now. So be aware of what's going on, and be aware of people that are unhappy and that are basically using you as an excuse to be unhappy.
Yeah.
That's important.
Now, I sent something to you this morning. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it. I was talking to you about this. Someone was saying that the reptilian beings, the overarching, what they consider their gods, are no longer wreaking havoc. They actually are, what's the word I want to use? They're being controlled by the white hats now. And so what you're seeing left is the minions thrashing about. And there's a contract supposedly that these beings, these overarching beings, are now turning them in as part of their ability to function in the universe again. But they're being watched heavily. I don't know, honey, I don't know if you had a chance to watch that or have anything to say on
I
that.
watched that little video, and I don't really resonate with a lot of it. It feels like old stuff to me.
Yeah.
I do think that they're mostly gone, actually.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of hybrids here, and the hybrids are part human, and they're really trying to do a good job. And I've met a few of them. They probably didn't know that I knew, but they're really trying. And we have to remember that they were also under mind control. So they really didn't have their faculties, and they're almost more simplistic in the mind than a human being is. So I feel like the tall grays were probably one of the worst, because they were humanity gone wrong. So they had destroyed their earth pretty much. They destroyed their genetics, and they really wanted genetics from a version of us that still was having babies, so that all of that energy is also being purged. So maybe that's why he picked up on it, or maybe he's on a different timeline.
Yeah.
Because in my timeline, they don't exist anymore unless they're a hybrid, and they're here because they are in the process of ascension.
Well, and that's the other thing I think that needs to be clarified is that they're all ascending. They're ascending too.
Yeah, just maybe not in their body.
Yeah.
So all the souls are ascending, and a lot of people are choosing not to stay in their body. And honestly, that's the normal way that everybody ascended. The only reason we're in a human body and we're ascending is because we're upgrading the body at the same time.
That's interesting because I wanted to ask you, I'm glad you brought it up, about timelines. You may have heard of them. They had this program many years ago, well over 50 years ago, where they were doing time travel and they were sending kids back. And Andrew Basiago was one of them. So he talks about, I was listening to this one. I've seen him on many shows in the past where he's talked about going to Gettysburg.
Yes.
And somebody took a picture. He was in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting because he had gone back in time and it registered him. And it was part of the record coming forward, from that time. 150 years later was when he was first talking about it. It was there so people could see it. Now, he also talked about how he went to the Lincoln assassination in Ford's Theater. And he went and saw it. He was supposed to be there for a witness, and then he was supposed to go to his exit point, and then he exited. But they kept sending him back over and over again, like 5 or 6 times. He went to the same thing and saw the same thing, but not completely. There was different people. There was different things on the wall. Mrs. Lincoln wore a different colored dress. Some of the people on stage performing wore different colored dresses. So what are your thoughts on, I know, because I've been involved in this time travel stuff, but what are your thoughts on currently our time travel and how, these different timelines that we're bouncing around in, how we can affect them? Because I think that, our consciousness can absolutely affect the timelines we're going through right now.
Oh, yeah. We affect everything.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're reaching your hand out and you're grabbing part of it and pulling on it, especially if you're really paying attention to it. Now, I think time travel is happening all over the place. We just are not aware of it. And we only see and pretty much hear 1% of the sound and 1% of the light spectrum. So there's all kinds of stuff that's going on around us, and we're not aware of it. And that's totally fine. But it really makes it, we are kind of like have blinders on as humans, and we're not seeing a lot of things. So you have to open your mind up to allow information to come in. So, but like there was a lady that I watched this morning, and they'd bought 2 stadium chairs, right? And they were yard sale chairs. They were old. They were like from the 50s. They looked like leather, and all of a sudden she found a 3rd one in the house. Right? So that's a glitch of timeline shifting. And that really freaks people out. But I'll get things in the mail that are not mine. Like I never ordered them, but my name's on it. And just weird things happening all the time. And we have those glitches all the time because the timelines are shifting so dramatically now. Mm-hmm. So we're in an interesting time.
Well, what also is interesting? I recently interviewed a woman named Kara Curry, and she came in with all of her memories. She actually remembers physically being born. She's amazing. If you get a chance, go to my YouTube channel and watch her interview. She will blow your mind.
Absolutely.
She was told that she was autistic, and she spent her life being fit into a box. Mm-hmm. And she talks about she's telepathic. School was torture for her because they'd hand her a book and she was like, she would read it from the back forward. And I said to her, because there's no such thing as time in her being. Mm. So it didn't matter where she picked up the book and started reading it, because she could get it from any place because the information was being downloaded. And she spent the first, 30 years of her life trying to be normal. And I said, but you are the next level of where we are ascending to. Mm-hmm. And she communicates telepathically with other autistic people who are nonverbal. And they're brilliant. And so people think that because someone may be in a wheelchair or blind and nonverbal, that they're just sitting there doing nothing. And these people, they're so far advanced from where we are, it's not even funny. Yeah. They see everything.
And I watched that interview, and so I'm listening to it for a while, and she's like, yeah, and, I have 4 children, and, 30 years ago, I'm like, what? She's, I mean, you look at her and the way she talks is like, she's like 18, 16.
Yeah, she looks really, really young. Yeah. Yeah. And here's the wild thing. When I was in Mexico, so she gets information and then she finds out why she got that information 2 years later. So 2 years ago, she got this information to draw this figure, this form. And I was showing her, in the video, she showed the picture of the form. I said, that looks exactly like a photo I took when I was in Mexico. It's called the cenote. It's an underground water, like a pool underwater in a cave. And it showed up on my photo. So I sent it to her and she goes, yes, I've been waiting for that photo. She's like, I met you 2 years ago. That's your spirit. She dissected the whole thing. And I was like, what? She was blowing my mind.
That's the timeline stuff we're talking about.
I know. Right? It was really crazy.
So, like you're saying, she's not in the timeline. We think of time as like a linear event, forward and backward. It's not. Mm-hmm. We can jump around on the timeline, and I see people in the chat are like, I have these glitches all the time. That's part of the timeline, jump. You may be jumping ahead and seeing stuff, and then you come back and you're like, oh, what? I already saw this. And so that's kind of the stuff a lot of people. So when you see that, don't get all discombobulated. Understand what's going on. You're jumping. Your consciousness is jumping around. Jump up, and get down. So don't let it mess you up. It's great.
I've seen it in the sky when I was driving, like almost like a split down the middle of the sky, and I saw a bunch of clouds. And it was a perfect line. And then on the other side, it was beautiful and sunny. And it was literally right down the middle. And I was like, what is going on up in the sky? And it's happened to me a couple times where I've seen splits like that.
That feels more like a break in the matrix.
Yeah.
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 So like a crack, because the sky is holographic at this point. It's not really a baby blue.
Yeah.
Sky.
Yeah, I think you said it's like a periwinkle color.
Yeah, periwinkle.
That'll be beautiful.
It's really going to be pretty. And the sun will not be so bright, and we may have multiple.
Yeah. So. Now, we were going to discuss the 12 universal laws, and I think that will help a lot of people understand some of the things we're talking about. We're not woo here. We're basically, we're connected to this information. And I think the laws, it's not like, absolute in a lot of ways, but it basically helps us understand a lot of this stuff. So would you like to go into that? If you like, I can bring up the laws and we can walk through them.
Yeah, that'd probably be good because I won't remember them all. I have them on my email.
Okay, so we see part of that. What is it? The law of divine oneness, but I can't see the whole thing.
Can you see the whole thing? Let me see.
There we go. Let's see. There we go.
Yeah. So we are all one. We're all in the same body, basically. So we're like cells in the body of whatever you want to call God, source, the universe, whatever you want to call that. We're all within it. So we're actually all one being because we're all made from that energy. So when you're yelling at someone, you're actually yelling at part of yourself. Or when someone's attacking you, they're actually attacking part of themselves.
I think that's one of the hardest things for people to understand, because if you see someone who murders someone else and then you hate them and you say, well, you're hating a part of yourself, it's hard to wrap your brain around that concept. And that's why the whole thing about sending love, because we don't know what you did, and you don't know what you did in a prior lifetime, on another timeline. You could have been that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where the Ho'oponopono comes in, because you accept responsibility for everything. This is super hard for everybody to grasp. But everything that happens, if you're seeing something that's you're traumatized by it, you send it love and forgiveness. Otherwise, you basically are part of it. You're attracting it, and you're giving it energy. So that's why you want to give it I'm sorry, thank you, and all, I love you, forgive me. So all these things, all these 4 things you say, basically breaks you free from that, and it starts to send energy to that to break it down and not let it have any energy to coexist again.
Exactly. So, and then the next one, you've got law of vibration. Everything is energy and vibration, including thoughts, emotions, and physical matter.
Yep.
So I have a question for both of you, because I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but I think for people to understand, because you say like energy attracts like energy, right? So what if I'm attracting, I think I'm like this loving, good person who's forgiven all these people, but you start attracting all of these dark people or dark circumstances. What's in that when you talk about the law of vibration?
It depends on what's going on. So I know someone who's an angelic, and they just were in the hospital and they had surgery. They brought home thousands of ghosts with them.
Oh, no. Oh my God.
Right? So all these ghosts are like, there's somebody that can help me. And they just followed them home. And then they had to be dealt with. They had to be sent home. But they didn't know that at first. So there were weeks of nightmares and, being afraid and not being able to sleep very well. So be aware that we're also transmuting a lot of stuff for other people. And those other people could be a ghost. They could be, one of our own shadows. So when that happens, call your angels in and say, listen, I don't know what's going on, but I need help here. Whoever these beings are, I need them to go home. Go home for healing.
Yeah. And I used to do one-on-one consultations for several years, and I just had to stop it because it was, people were like, glamming onto me, and that's where this one person that's, still giving me some, bad vibrations is from that time frame, almost 5 years ago since I've done that. But see how long that can have an effect. Even though I'm sending it good vibrations and, sending the angels to handle that, still keeps coming. And I don't do as many events as I would love to, because I get attacked at these events all the time. People come up to me and, say, you were very bad to me in a past lifetime. I'm like, I don't remember that, so we have a lot of, and I take responsibility, like I said, for this stuff to a certain extent. Not always. So I have to shield myself and keep myself safe from a lot of this stuff. So most of my stuff that you're going to see, and I love doing shows with you guys because you understand these vibrational fields and the attraction factor, the law of vibration. So where you're vibrating, can be like a light for bugs sometimes. So you have to understand that and, be okay with that to a certain extent. If you're going to be in this field of helping people, occasionally you're going to get some bugs.
Yeah, no, and it's true. And the other part of it is, when we do work with people, we can't do anything for someone else. we're helping people heal themselves. And there's a thing about power that happens in the human collective, that and there's a whole worship thing that happens when we see someone who's achieved a certain thing. There's a worship that happens instead of realizing I'm that too.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll pull on you because they want your energy, not intentionally, but they want you to heal them for them instead of them doing their work.
Right.
And so there's this thing that is really important that has to be, all of us who are in the healing, all of us need to protect ourselves, because people will court us. And they will start, it's like that vampiric energy of trying to suck your life force from you, because they don't have it in them to hold it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good. Very good points. Law of correspondence: as above, so below, as within, so without. Your outer world often reflects your inner beliefs and consciousness. So that's why it's very important to keep those very positive thoughts, and make sure that you're not being with negative thoughts, and it brings in that negativity. It's very hard. It's very, very hard. I got to the point where I would send out love quite a bit. My teachers taught me, start sending love to everyone you see. Boy, that was tough. And then, cut the cords from everyone that's done you harm. That was tough too. It took me years. To learn this and get comfortable with it. Now it's extremely comfortable. I remember, sending people love, and they look at me like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, don't look at them. Just send them love." Right? It's part of that vibrational field that some people, they don't like it. They don't like that love.
Mm-mm.
No.
Well, and even when we're doing a healing, I'll put the whole group in a bubble. Like, everybody's got their own bubble.
Mm-hmm.
So, and to me, when I'm doing it, it looks like I'm rolling out bubble wrap, and everybody's stepping into one of those little bubbles, and they're doing their own work in there. And that's really helped not be as exhausted after we do a healing.
Yeah.
And we're just guiding. We're guiding the way.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of energy that goes into it. So it really is important to be aware that we are responsible for our world, the immediate world that we inhabit. So like your house, your car, your relationships, all of it is up to us.
Yeah. But there's another part of it, because I work in the unconscious mind, is you need to discover what your unconscious beliefs are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the mirror shows up in the law of correspondence, because you start to keep attracting things into your life, a certain type of person, certain things keep happening over and over again in your life. That's the mirror that the universe is showing you that needs to be healed inside of you. And the hardest thing is to take responsibility for that, because you're like, wait a minute, these people are harming me, right? Mm-hmm. But there's something inside of me that keeps attracting this over and over and over again on these loops that I'm on. So what is it in me that I need to heal in order to resolve that, so I don't attract that anymore? So that's really important. And don't bypass that, because there's a whole spiritual and mental bypass that just goes, I'm just going to be love and light. And then you bypass all of that unconscious stuff that needs your shadow, that needs to be brought up.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people did that, and some are still doing that, where it's just all fabulous and didn't have to do any work to get there, but then it like implodes later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and Lisa, I think you're absolutely masterful in that, in bringing out the darker energies that sometimes go back lifetimes. Mm-hmm. We're consciously unaware of it, but there it is, and it's attracting, causing problems, across every aspect of, our conscious, our loved ones, and everyone's affected by it. And so that's exceptionally, good advice. Start to realize, if you're continually attracting something, it's easy for us to look at someone who's like, You keep that, you keep, dating people that just got out of prison. So come on, but it's like, it's not obvious to them. It's
Yeah.
crazy
It's
how
true.
obvious it is to a lot of us. But some of these things, even with me, attracting some of the things that I do, I'm very aware on a very incredible level, but still, you need somebody else to like look at you. Oh, are you kidding? You keep, attracting the prisoners. So come on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that, and there's that law of attraction,
Yeah.
like the energy you consistently embody tends to attract similar experiences.
Yeah.
So focus expands. I mean, you start to, expand your focus, and you start to catch these things before they happen. For me, it was, I would get angry. I would get angry, and it would put me in like a very negative cycle. And so I learned to catch that, sooner and sooner. And then almost, I'm still guilty of it sometimes, but sometimes I would catch it just, it was coming out, and I was like, oh, there it is. And I would shut it down, and then I would have those issues. So that's, your focus, expanding your focus, and seeing why you keep doing the same things, and, stopping them before they happen. Or if you're doing the right things, continue to do that thing that is, bringing you the good.
Mm-hmm. This is how you jump timelines too.
Yeah.
So if you can vibrate, and you'll be using the law of inspired action.
Yeah.
So, but if you can vibrate at the level where you want to actually be at, the more often you do that, and say that's like, I want to get a new car or something, or it's, I want to expand my gifts, and I want to be able to see things just like that, to be able to see what's actually going on. And if you can just vibrate in that space longer and longer every day, then you're going to get into that new timeline. And it's because you're paying attention to the law of inspired action.
Yeah.
Because if you get a message to do this or that, and it's going to help you get there, then you do it.
One of the things that I was trained in hypnosis and in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, is we do something called future seeing. So you go into a meditation and you visualize what your future is, what you desire it to be, and you anchor it. So you give it a feeling. You go through all of it. You give it, if you hear it, you can see it, you can taste it, and then you anchor that. And you keep referring back to that in meditation, so that you attract it. And it's amazing. Like if you want to be a speaker, see yourself on a stage in front of, 1,000 people, 5,000 people, and feel what it feels like to be that. Now, if you get triggered, then there's a part of you that isn't ready for that. And that also shows you what you need to do so that you can attract that. Because if you're an introvert and afraid to get on a stage, you're not going to attract it like that, because you're not ready. So the law of inspired action is important, but you have to be ready to step into that in order to do it.
Brilliant. Yeah. So that the law of attraction just led right into the law of inspired action. So,
yeah,
I see it in the chat here. I've seen it in all my chats, for years and years and years. And some people are really, stuck on this, where they're like, God will provide, Jesus will provide, blah, blah, blah. Yes, they're there to help you, to guide you, but they don't do you, right?
Yeah.
So I could just sit here and wait to be fed, and wait to like water to come to me. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So you have to like get in, you have to do action, guys. So the stuff that we're talking about, there's a lot of, spiritual woo-woo out there that's a little out there. It's very frustrating to see it. We've been trying to, clue people up on this for years and years and years, but some people are still stuck on it. So you have to actually do. You will be guided. You will get, inspiration. You will get things that and people that come into your environment that will help you, but you have to move. It's that one, it's been said many times, someone was in a flood zone. There was a flood coming, and the sheriffs came. Okay, you got to leave your house because there's a flood coming, and God will provide. And so, the floods came, so they had to go up to the second floor. And so the boat comes with the fire department. It's like, hey, get in the boat. There's going to be more flooding. God will provide. Okay. And then they drive away. And then the floods, increase. And so they had to go through the roof. And, helicopter comes, and a guy comes down the rope and says, get on. We got to get you out of here. It's more floods coming. God will provide. Okay. So they, free will. So they go back up and fly away, and the floods come, and, they die. And so they go to God, the pearly gates, and there's God on the throne, and they're like, why didn't you provide, God? It's like, I sent the sheriff to get you out of there. I sent the fire department to get you out of there. And I sent the, National Guard and the helicopter to get you out of there. You didn't do anything. So I can't help people that don't do anything. All right. So that's the law of inspired action, in my opinion.
Love that.
Yeah, that's a great example.
It is.
Energy is always moving and changing. Lower energies can be transformed into higher energies through awareness and intention. Nothing is stuck forever. So this is kind of the stuff we're talking about as far as, these negative people and events and so forth that are coming into our consciousness. So nothing is stuck forever. So you can learn how to overcome this, but you have to take action.
Mm-hmm. And you need to let go of the energy. So when we're doing our quantum healing, we're actually asking for the negative energy to turn to dust. So there's all this dust at the end of parts of what we're doing, and it gets sent off into the universe to be transmuted, because it's still energy, and source is not going to judge whether it's bad or good energy. It's just going to turn it into good energy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's basically it. Yeah.
So then we have 7, the law of cause and effect. Well, that's what we've referred to as karma, and every action creates an equal and opposite reaction. It's that little physics in there.
Mm-hmm.
So be careful what you put out there, because it will come back to you.
Yeah. So the law of compensation is you receive according to what you contribute and create. I can barely read it, but energy something seeks balance. So yeah. And thank you so much. The compensation is really important, because that's where the good stuff comes in. Right? So you've done your work, you've healed, you're doing a good job with your own healing and uncovering who you actually are. And you're being honest with yourself.
Now, how does that
come in?
How does that work in the case of someone says, okay, I'm working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm working really hard and I never make any money. So how does that work if I'm putting all that energy and I'm doing all this and I'm not feeling like I'm getting the reward that I feel like I deserve?
So that is basically the old paradigm. And we've been taught that paradigm where you're supposed to work really hard, usually for someone else.
Yeah.
Not for yourself. And working for someone else, whose best interests are they watching over? Their own.
Yeah.
So what we're walking into now is going to be working for ourselves and creating. So that won't be the case in the future. And it's almost like a slavery mentality.
Yeah.
If I work 12 hours a day, then they're going to remember me and they're going to do something for me. But deep down, they haven't remembered you or done something for you already. So it's not actually happening.
Yeah. And, in my case, I worked 35 years for for the government, you know, in very, very high capacities, protecting, you know, doing my stuff in extremely dangerous situations. And I thought that they would always, you know, take care of me and so forth. Well, no, they tried to kill me many times, destroy my life. And that's when I started to break free, where they saw that they could no longer control me. From that point on, I was attacked and eventually broke free from that system. And now I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. I'm the most successful I've ever been in my life. And that's because, like you were talking about, honey, I'm working for myself. So when everyone really starts to get that concept and really starts to move in that direction and breaks free from the system, I don't have any debt. That was kind of forced on me because they destroyed my credit. So I had to pay everything in cash, and I was like, wow, this actually works pretty good. And so that's you're constantly breaking free from the system and only working for yourself. That's your big goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have law of relativity. Everything is experienced in relation to something else. Challenges can be opportunities for growth depending upon perspective. Meaning comes from perception. So I love this one because I've looked at people who have, in my opinion, hurt me, or circumstances that really did what I thought damaged my psyche quite a bit. And now in retrospect, I can look at that and I can go, wow, those were some of the greatest gifts that I've ever been given. The lessons that I've learned and who I am now because of those experiences, I would never, ever be who I am now without that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep. So the law of polarity is everything contains opposite aspects: light and dark, hot and cold, fear and love. Opposites are often different degrees of the same thing. So what I've noticed with us as a human race is we want to see everything in black and white, but it isn't black and white. And being able to sit with someone that believes the opposite of what you believe and not be triggered by them is a beautiful thing. So there is a lot of polarity, and that law really went nuts, I would say, for the last, since the beginning of this universe. We've been fighting with each other to learn. So we've been doing the polarity in order to learn, and we're not going to be doing that anymore. It's going to be more of an observer effect. We're not going to be actually physically engaging with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Once I became more the observer, that really helped me as far as like getting stuck in one area and, thinking that somebody's, they're the problem. It's like, I just observe it now. It's like, yeah, some people are a problem. Yeah, some people aren't. So I'm not getting stuck. I'm not getting my consciousness, my energy, my emotions pulled into that. So I'm staying just observant, and it works so well. I love it.
And I think one of the other things is to remember with everyone has their own truth. So what's true to them may not be true to me. And so it's important that I honor that their experiences in their life help mold their belief system. And so someone gave me great advice many years ago about just being curious. But, why do you believe the way you do? Instead of getting confrontational, because there's so many people other than NPCs, and you're going to have that you're going to have to deal with, and Karens and whatever you're going to deal with who are off the wall. But I miss actually having a real conversation and a real debate where I'm learning from someone and they're learning from me and learning to agree to disagree or come to some kind of compromise. I think that we've lost that, and our children are not learning that either. People are learning violence.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember when I was a little boy, and I was in a white and black school in Columbia, South Carolina. I didn't see any race during that time frame, pretty much all the way up into through high school. I played with everybody as a little boy. Some I didn't get along with, white and black. It didn't matter, but I got along with most people, and I loved the experiences that I had, with both sides, with different sexes and with different color skins, all the way through high school. And then when I went in the military, it was the same thing. So I see, these days that, young black men seem to be very violent, and they weren't when I was growing up. So something has changed, and something has put pressure on them to move in that direction. There's probably a lot of factors that are involved in that. Music, society,
Yeah.
there's a lot of, unfortunately, young children born to black families that don't have a father anymore because the women don't make money from the government if they have a spouse. So that's takes one of the things away that was always there in the past. And I always saw the blacks when I grew up were very, very strong. You never saw, blacks would never shoot anybody, and it was like you never saw mass shootings from blacks. They didn't do it. So it was always whites. It's crazy. So maybe we should focus on the whites too. But blacks now are unfortunately, there's a very violent percentage of blacks that kill other blacks, kill whites, kill cops, and so forth. And when you look at the other side, the percentages are extremely low. So there is evidently something that's going on. And I think it's because blacks are very, very spiritual. And that's one of the things that they want to shut down. Yeah.
Absolutely. The black community and the indigenous community. Why do you think there's been so much attention put on them to put them down? Yeah. And if you look at when the prisons went private, owned by the music industry, Sony owns a lot of the private prisons. They created rap to keep the prisons full. They also worked with the government to reward single mothers. So there were all these kids that were suddenly born. It was created. That was all created.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Absolutely.
It's gross. So let's see. We have law of rhythm. So life moves in cycles, seasons, and patterns. Expansion and contraction are natural. Trust the flow of life cycles.
So this is a huge one because everything moves in like a spiral staircase. And some people get stuck on one level and they're just looping in a circle. And you can see them now, especially with people who are NPCs, non-player characters, or a Karen, and whoever is named Karen that is not that way. I apologize.
Sorry.
Yeah. But that behavior is so loopy. They say the same thing every day. They talk to you about the same subjects. And you get really like, wow, we're still doing this. And that's the same with someone who marries the same person over and over again, or like maybe boyfriend, girlfriend over and over again. We're not doing the loops anymore. We're trying to spiral up. And so the rhythm is a little less like predictable, I guess I'm going to say. And following the rhythms is really important because we want to get moved up in that spiral. And also following the cycles is really important. I don't really know if we're going to have seasons so much anymore. That's one thing that I think is going to go away. But we have patterns, and breaking loose of them is important if you're being asked to. And if they're beautiful, go ahead and keep them, but be in flow.
Yeah. And Honey's well aware of this one for me. When you talk about the law of rhythm, there are times when you have a lot of energy and you're moving and you're accomplishing a lot. And other times when you're meant to be quiet and integrate. And several months ago, we were talking, and she said, yeah, you have this really big piece of you that's coming in. It needs to integrate, and it's going to integrate very slowly. And me being impatient goes, nah, I can handle it. And I called it in during a meditation. I was so sick for 24 hours, I couldn't get out of bed. And she's like, I told you to go slow. I was like, I'm sorry, I got so excited.
I want it now.
I literally was like, I literally felt like I was dying. Like I could not move out of bed. I could barely function. I couldn't eat anything. I really knocked myself. So when you talk about honoring those cycles, it's really important to honor that if you don't feel like doing anything today, that your body is probably doing a lot.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's a good point. And it's taken me a while to get that as well. Because my body, you know, I like to hammer my body every day physically. It just, you know, I get to think, I get to focus, and I get all the frustrations that are happening in my life out. But sometimes, you know, it's been rare for me, but I think over the last probably year, I've started to take more time off, and it seems to be helping out pretty good. And so you got to, like you said, you got to listen to your body. The rhythms are, you know, changing. And internally, if you look, well, not everybody's seen the inner Earth, but inner Earth, there are no changes of season. There's massive inner Earth cities and so forth, where you know they do have a light and then a darkness, and looks like stars and so forth. But there is in moons, but there is no you know, weather patterns, no changes, no nothing. Everything's perfect. So I think you're right, honey. I think we're going to see that on the surface here in a little bit.
Yeah. As soon as the weather control starts to fade.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. That'll be awesome. And then we have the law of gender, masculine and feminine energies. And they exist throughout creation. This refers to energetic qualities rather than biological sex. Masculine is action, structure, and focus. Feminine is intuition, receptivity, and creativity. Balance creates harmony. Everyone has a masculine and a feminine side. Yeah. I actually do a workshop. Honey and I are going to be doing some workshops coming up, some courses where you find your inner king and your inner queen. And I remember years ago when I first started doing it, my divine feminine was 6 years old. That's what was running me. Like that part of me had to mature when I was in that fight or flight and fear state and didn't want to be here. And my king, who was supposed to be my protector, was like 90 years old. So when I would do these meditations, I'm like, come on, guys. I realized that I had a lot of healing to do, that your divine masculine and feminine need to be equaled out. They need to be at the same age. And we need both. So many women perceive the feminine and men as weak. And that's far from it, because they only know the shadow of the feminine. And then there's the toxic masculinity, and people are taught, you know, that's bad, when no, we need each other. We're not here to do all one.
Yeah. Once I understood this concept, that's when I really started to excel in everything in my life. You know, it wasn't so, you know, challenging, because it was just like a, you know, some kind of, I don't know, rock that had to like, you know, hammer everything. Or taking a hammer when all you need is a feather. All right, so to get things done, that's the kind of things that I started to see when I started to develop my intuition. So once I realized it was the right side of my brain, the intuitive side, the creative side, I was able to start to know things in advance, intuitive, connecting to the God source. So a lot of people in the Middle East. So we talk about, you know, differences. A lot of people in the Middle East are very feminine minded. They're very, connected to God and intuition, receptivity, creativity, but almost no masculine. I mean, we would go into a restaurant and we were like, okay, we got 2 more guys coming. There's 3 of us here. And the guys would look at us and go, and they'd leave 3 menus. Like, and it was like, we need 2 more menus, and he wouldn't leave them because he couldn't see it. But that's the way their minds work. And once you understand that, they're very creative. That's why they're very good at terrorism because they're very, very creative.
Wow.
And that's the negative side of it, obviously. But as far as like, they're being controlled by a masculine group that can come in and control them. So they keep the people very, feminine, all of them, like 80, 95% at least of people in the Middle East, which is good if you don't have a negative force that comes in. But developing that masculine side would be very, very good for them. Then they wouldn't have these people that come in and control them. They'd see through it right away. It's like, no, we're not going to do that. And that's some of the things that we're seeing in certain areas in the United States. They feminize people, soy boys and so forth. And, then they're able to control that group, that population very easily.
But it's so interesting that you say, because I have a friend who lives in India. She was born in India, came to the US, went to school here, probably lived here about 20 years and then went back. And she talks about living in India, which is the rape capital of the world, and how little respect there is for women. And she was talking about the fact that, and actually Gloria Steinem actually made this quote, the countries and societies that don't honor women are mostly war-torn countries. They don't honor the divine feminine. And it's where the divine feminine is really revered and is where you'll have more balance in the societies. So, yeah, we need to balance everything once again to the masculine and feminine and stop pretending to be something that we're not.
Mm-hmm. And I can go to, I'm sorry, just real quick.
No,
I can go to an area where it's dirty, India, Pakistan, and they don't honor their women.
No.
You go to a place where everything's beautiful, you that the women are strong there. So that's a great indicator for me. So that's sad about India being the rape capital or being the rape capital of the world. So wow, doesn't surprise me though.
Yeah.
It's because they don't feel like they have anything to protect because they're not honoring them.
Mm.
And there's an old saying, and I can't remember which tribe it comes from, but basically that the woman is here to lead the masculine to their soul. So the woman has the 3 frontal lobes and can kind of see more things at once. And the masculine is here to protect that. And inside of a single person, then you're protecting yourself. You're taking care of yourself. And you can completely do that. There's no reason that we have to have another person in our lives to be strong and to be in good shape, right?
Yeah.
But it's really interesting how it's all been set up. And a man now in the US has so much less testosterone. Like a 50-year-old man will have more testosterone than a 20-year-old man. And that's because of all the estrogens and stuff that are everywhere in the foods and in all the plastic and everything. So it's interesting, and it'll switch.
It reminds me, I had a dream where I was drinking soy milk and I started getting boobs.
Yeah, don't
put that milk down.
Thank you, universe. I appreciate those dreams. Thank you.
That was a warning.
Yes.
That's so funny. Oh my God. Wow. This has been amazing. Going into all of these, I think are so important for people to really reflect on this and how it impacts their lives. And that's a huge part of learning to stepping in and becoming sovereign, right? Yep. It's really the law of sovereignty and learning how to be one. I love this. And when you do that, you're untouchable. No one can touch you. So that's part of the protection. And also, we started talking about, there's so many different protection mechanisms out there. There's thousands, probably millions. It's important to find something that works for you. If it's prayer, it's prayer. I mean, I have my beams. You two have yours also. Chris told me that it creates an energetic circle around you. That's why I sleep with it, because it creates a bubble around me at night when I sleep. And so I'm always connecting to it for protection. There's all kinds of amazing prayers. I have symbols that I've used. A friend of mine does these symbols, and I use those to create protection around my home. Honey, you have things that you do as well.
Yeah, I like to clear everything energetically, but if you're thinking about physical objects, usually stones that are black are going to be really helpful when it comes to, they will protect you from negative energy. So this is obsidian, but black tourmaline is probably one of the very best stones. So if you're being hassled or feeling even ungrounded, you can just get a chunk of that and stick it in your pocket and take it around with you all day long.
Yeah.
And that's really helpful. But I like to clear everything. So I don't do it as much now. I'll just be like, I'll just grow my light or send love to them and grow my light at the same time. But I used to clear every grocery store. So I used to fill it with white light. I used to pull all the ego out of it. And I used to just fill it up with love.
Yeah.
And that was before I went in. So you can do that with your house. You can, and I use energy that looks like lava lamp energy. So kind of thick.
Yeah.
And with the white, I just pull it out. I ask for the ego or any danger or whatever to just be pulled out. And then you throw it out into the universe for transmutation. But I will armor my own body with white light. There's so many things you guys can do. I'll put silver in the walls and in the floor and in the ceiling. And I'll be in a silver box before we go to sleep at night, like in a hotel, because I don't want anybody else's energy. And if you do those kind of things and just, be creative with it, it's all about your intention, because you guys are really, really powerful. So if you just do whatever comes in and feels good to you, then you're self-protecting.
Yeah.
And you can ask your angels to stand guard over you all night long. You can ask them to help you with things. You could call in a dragon. You could call in a unicorn. Like whatever you want to do, you can do it.
No, I love that.
And the angels. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we fire up crystals and we put them all around the house for protection. We do we burn cedar and sage. And I heard one time that somebody was doing that and a window cracked or something like that. And they said, "Oh, you have to leave a cracked window or a door open so that the evil spirits can leave." I was like, wow. I remember that. So I've done that since. I've never had that problem, but that's, little things you learn along the way, are very important. So the cedar, burn the cedar first and then the sage. Cedar is, I guess, anchoring in good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the sage is basically pushing out negativity. So
I have liquid Palo Santo.
nice.
I have my Florida water.
Wow.
I have my crystals. Well, because when you're working with people, you really have to protect yourself. I can't tell you how many times I've had to call a friend of mine. Could you take this off of me? I can't. I don't feel good because sometimes they do slip through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys have helped us a few times, so thank you very much. So
yeah.
Sometimes you need a little, help from a friend.
A little extra. Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
and don't be afraid to reach out.
Yep.
Get a cat, you guys. Cat will protect you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
bodyandsoul.com.
Yeah.
that's where, you know, we've been doing the meditations together. The groups have been pretty substantial. And so we have the third Thursday of the month. And tell us the times again.
12 o'clock and 4 o'clock Eastern time. You can go to one or both. The recordings are in the website. There's a library with a whole bunch of stuff in the library that's available to people. It's a subscription. It's $44. And the value is amazing. I still can't believe we do it for $44.
That's amazing. Yep. No doubt about it.
Well, it's gotten more powerful over time, it feels like, too. So, because everybody's getting more and more pieces of their soul inside their body. So they're really doing amazing things in there. And it's great to watch them.
Yeah.
Because people that have been in there for a little while, they're really doing a lot of healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they are. And we're actually we're putting together some other classes. And just to put in a quick note, well, we're working on some programs to do some deeper dives about how to really step into the 5D and living a life of miracles. So we're really excited about that. And the We Are Quantum book is in process of being published, and 2 of the authors are here. So we're doing a big author event on my website, Lisa Mindset. If you go under books, We Are Quantum, you can register for the author event. We've got 225 people registered. We've got over 20 of the 36 authors are going to be there that I know of so far. There's a 6 a.m. Eastern time for people who are in Europe. So if they want to join that, you can message me and I'll get you the link for that. I think 4 or 5 of the Brad Wozni is going to be on that because he's in Bosnia right now. So that'll be fun. I don't know if you talked to him. He's going to do some crazy stuff on the solstice coming up. So I'm excited. He's going to be at the pyramids in Bosnia. He's in the book. Dr. Joe Vitale, Sir Robert Edward Grant, Laura Eisenhower, Tom Althouse, who wrote the original manuscript to the Matrix. I mean, really amazing people.
Yeah.
So.
Excellent. And honey, you have your book too.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a book that's out right now, and that's called The Old Soul's Guide to the Universe. But I have another one that I'm working on, so that should be out at the beginning of August. And I'm just excited for the world right now. Like, we're really seeing some big shifting going on. And you see it in the energy before you see it in the world. And I think the collective is pretty ready to have some change happen.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And those meditations definitely help. They're fantastic. So thank you guys for doing those.
Thank you.
That is a great price. Thank you.
Yeah, and bring your dogs, your cats, because they love the healings too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Great show today. And, thank you guys for coming in and sharing your great information. We're always supporting the show. So thank you.
Thank you guys.
Bye.